Imagine a wasteland where the sun radiates not light, but sheer, unyielding hellfire, a desolate expanse stretching endlessly without a single drop of water, an unforgiving empire ruled entirely by thirst and death. What we know today as the Sahara is no mere ocean of sand. It is a geological leviathan spanning nearly 9 million square kilometers, a monster so colossal it could swallow the entirety of the United States or China whole, obliterating the borders of over a dozen nations. This is the most hostile and ruthless desert on the face of the earth. But what if we told you that what we perceive as the world's largest desert is in reality the largest graveyard on Earth? A graveyard that is still very much alive, dictating the very breath of our planet from thousands of miles away. What if we told you that this hellscape of sand wasn't always this way? What if we revealed that the scorching dunes where camels tread today were once submerged beneath a deep azure ocean, thousands of feet deep? This is no wild fantasy. It is a chilling reality. 40 million years ago, this sand simply did not exist. Here lay a colossal body of water known as the Tethys Ocean, and ruling these primordial waters was an apex predator, whose very fossilized remains send shivers down the spines of modern paleontologists, the Basilosaurus. A staggering 21-meter-long whale, dwarfing even the most fearsome killer whales of our modern era. And the most mind-bending detail, it had legs. Yes, actual legs. Why would an aquatic leviathan evolve legs? Was it preparing to emerge from the abyss to conquer the land? Or was nature hardwiring it for a cataclysmic future yet to come? This, my friends, is a story about far more than just sand. It is the epic saga of a lost world buried right beneath our feet, a prehistoric paradise that transformed into an absolute inferno before our very eyes. But we have merely scratched the surface of the Sahara's mysteries. Embedded deep in the heart of this wasteland is a massive blue eye, a feature so colossal it can be clearly observed from the vacuum of space. To some, it is our planet's greatest geological anomaly, while to others, it is the lost mythical metropolis of Atlantis. What is the true origin of this Eye of the Sahara? And how did a lush, thriving rainforest, an Eden once carved by roaring rivers, metamorphose into the most desolate and arid wasteland on Earth in a mere blink of geological time? In this documentary, we will excavate a cursed truth, a reality that these shifting sands have kept ruthlessly entombed for millennia. We will unravel a profound cosmic conspiracy, one that suggests a terrifying paradox. If the Sahara were ever to turn green again, it could very well trigger the catastrophic collapse of human civilization. Because the Sahara is no ordinary desert, it is a labyrinth of time, a temporal trap from which absolute truth has rarely escaped. So brace yourselves as we plunge into the abyss to unearth the dark secrets that time itself buried beneath the dunes. Chapter 1: The Green Ghost. The Sahara's greatest enigma is not buried beneath its shifting sands, but is etched deep into the faces of these towering, cold monoliths. Welcome to Algeria's Tassili Niger Plateau. These are no mere lifeless rocks. This is the largest open-air museum on the planet. Here, the stone canvas harbors over 15,000 ancient petroglyphs, narrating a seemingly impossible saga. Examine these murals closely. Do you see any camels depicted here? You don't. Instead, These walls chronicle vast herds of elephants, towering giraffes, and colossal hippopotamuses wading through deep waters. But the most staggering revelation is yet to be seen. Consider the paradox. Why would prehistoric humans, isolated in the heart of a hyper-arid wasteland, paint themselves actively swimming? Was this a work of pure tribal mythology, or perhaps the vivid hallucination of a shamanic trance? Or did they actually feel the rush of deep, flowing currents against their skin, right here, upon this now barren Earth? Science dictates this was no mere illusion, roughly 5,000 to 14,000 years ago. During a climatic epoch scientists define as the African humid period, the Sahara was not a barren wasteland, but a flourishing, vibrant savanna. An intricate labyrinth of river systems pulsed through this landscape, feeding a colossal inland sea right at its heart, Mega Lake Chad, a body of water dwarfing today's Caspian Sea, so impossibly massive that if you combined all the North American Great Lakes, it would still swallow them whole. Its majestic waters sprawled across a staggering 400,000 square kilometers. Meaning, where violent dust storms rage today, thriving ecosystems of aquatic life once reigned supreme. But then, an unprecedented cataclysm struck, an event that violently mutated nature's greatest paradise into history's most unforgiving inferno. What monumental upheaval could forcibly reroute the atmospheric weather systems almost overnight? What force possessed the sheer power to flash vaporize an inland sea of hundreds of thousands of square kilometers? Was this a gradual, agonizing decay, or was it driven by a terrifying orbital anomaly, a cosmic mechanism whose crosshairs are now fixed squarely on us? Chapter 2: The Fall of Eden. So, what triggered the collapse? How did a lush, hydro-rich Eden violently transition into a sterile landscape of death? Was it the catastrophic impact of an asteroid, or the apocalyptic eruption of a supervolcano? The truth is far more terrifying. This devastation was not forged deep within the Earth. It was orchestrated from the cold void of space. To comprehend this, picture a simple childhood toy, a spinning top. As it rotates, it doesn't merely spin perfectly on a fixed axis. Its crown inherently begins to drift, tracing a slow, erratic wobble. Our planet mimics this exact chaotic dance as it hurtles through the cosmos. In astrophysics, this phenomenon is known as orbital precession. Roughly 5 millennia ago, this very axial wobble drastically altered the trajectory of incoming solar radiation. The consequence was devastating. The life-giving monsoons that served as the beating heart of the Sahara were violently dragged southward, abandoning the region entirely. What followed was a nightmare of planetary proportions. We assume geological metamorphosis requires millions of years. The Sahara brutally shattered that law. According to climatologists, this desertification wasn't a gradual fade. It was a violent collapse executed in a mere matter of decades. Imagine the sheer horror. A child born under the canopy of a vibrant rainforest, living just long enough to see that exact same land reduced to a scorching, incinerated wasteland. The great forests choked and died. The fertile soil was pulverized into dust, and the legendary Green Sahara was forever entombed in the ashes of history. Chapter 3: Empire of Sand. As the Sahara desiccated and its lifeblood evaporated, a mass exodus began. The vast majority of both humans and wildlife fled the encroaching wasteland. Most sought refuge eastward, migrating toward the fertile Nile basin of Egypt. But one fiercely defiant civilization absolutely refused to surrender their ancestral homeland. For centuries, the annals of history casually dismissed them, burying their legacy under the label of mere barbarians or nomadic savages. But in the 1960s, when early orbital satellites pierced the veil of the Libyan sands, the scientific community was left utterly paralyzed with shock. Those weren't merely shifting dunes. Entombed beneath the surface lay the sprawling ruins of a colossal, highly advanced empire. They were known as the Garamantes. Today, it is a phantom metropolis. But the burning question remains: how did they sustain thriving agriculture for a millennium, right in the dead center of this rainless, hyper-arid furnace? The truth is, this so-called barbarian civilization engineered a staggeringly audacious technological marvel known as the Fogeras. When the skies ceased to yield rain, they physically carved into the Earth's crust. They excavated thousands of kilometers of subterranean aqueducts deep beneath the mountain rock. These were no rudimentary trenches. Modern archaeologists estimate that if you were to connect this entire subterranean labyrinth, its total length would exceed a staggering 4,800 kilometers, a distance greater than the entire vertical expanse of the Indian subcontinent. But a grim, harrowing truth lay buried beneath this engineering marvel. Lacking advanced machinery, carving out such a colossal subterranean labyrinth with mere chisels and stone hammers was beyond the realm of ordinary human endurance. These subterranean arteries were not carved by the Garamantes themselves, but by the blood and sweat of thousands of enslaved captives, violently uprooted from across the African continent and driven to excavate in the suffocating darkness until their bodies simply gave out. They were bleeding the earth of its fossil water, an ancient subterranean reservoir trapped deep within the bedrock thousands of years ago, a final lingering phantom of the green Sahara. The Garamantes had seemingly conquered the unforgiving desert, but they could not outrun the relentless march of time. Fossil water behaves much like liquid petroleum. It is a finite resource. Once drained from the aquifer, it is permanently depleted. Inevitably, the sprawling subterranean arteries began to run dry. The water table plummeted deeper into the earth, retreating to depths that made extraction physically impossible. By the year 700 AD, this once mighty empire simply died of thirst. The encroaching sands swallowed their 8 grand cities, their agricultural oases, and completely erased their legacy. The Garamantes leave behind a chilling, monumental warning. Humanity may wage war against nature, but we can never truly defeat it. Yet, where human civilization crumbled, certain organisms refused to yield. To endure the blistering fury of this desert furnace, engineered their very biology into living machines. Prepare to meet the warriors of the sand, the extraordinary survivors who still thrive within this inferno. Chapter 4: Warriors of the Sand. We perceive the Sahara purely as a realm of death, a colossal incinerator, where everything that enters is ultimately reduced to ash. But if you strip away this deceptive veil of desolation, you will discover that even in the lethal, suffocating heat of midday, life continues to breathe. Yet, survival in this environment is no mere accident of nature. To draw breath here, these organisms had to fundamentally rewrite their own biology. They have openly defied the very laws of nature. When high noon strikes and the surface temperatures skyrocket to a blistering 60 to 70 degrees Celsius, even the Sahara's most formidable apex predators concede defeat, retreating deep into the safety of their subterranean burrows. And at this precise moment, when absolutely nothing else dares to break cover, the true superhero of this wasteland emerges from its subterranean bunker. Meet the Saharan silver ant, the undisputed speed champion of the insect world. A biological marvel capable of traversing over 100 times its own body length in a single, blistering second. But why would it deliberately embark on what appears to be a suicide mission? The answer is simple: starvation. It emerges strictly to scavenge the scorched corpses of lesser creatures, those that succumbed to the lethal heat stroke. You might be wondering, how does it not instantly incinerate? Because evolution has equipped it with a biological spacesuit. Its exoskeleton is coated in microscopic silver hairs, perfectly engineered to function as tiny triangular prisms. These hairs fiercely reflect the sun's lethal radiation, simultaneously dissipating the ant's internal body heat back out into the atmosphere. This thermoregulation allows the creature to sprint through 50 degrees Celsius hellfire as comfortably as if it were lounging in a climate-controlled bunker. From the microscopic marvels of the sand, we now descend to meet the lingering ghosts of a forgotten epoch. Hidden deep within the jagged sandstone massifs of Chad lies the Guelta d'Arche, a highly secretive oasis, and actively patrolling these dark, isolated waters are crocodiles. It defies all logic and reason. What are apex aquatic predators doing, stranded in the middle of a fire-breathing desert? Yes, you are looking at the final living relics of the green Sahara. 5 millennia ago, when the great river systems evaporated, the vast crocodile populations perished. But a select few became permanently imprisoned within these isolated, rocky water pockets. To avoid starvation in these confined spaces, they literally shrank their own bodies over generations, a biological phenomenon known as dwarfism. Trapped in a literal hell, they are the last descendants of an ancient Eden, enduring as a living memory of an era when oceans and rivers dominated this landscape. At every turn, the Sahara presents a biological anomaly that has successfully cheated death. Consider the fennec fox, equipped with disproportionately massive ears. These are not merely for acute hearing. They function as highly efficient biological radiators to expel lethal body heat. Observe the Adax antelope, the true chameleon of the desert dunes. In the summer, its coat turns a brilliant white to reflect the scorching sun, while in winter, it morphs to a heat-absorbing brown. And then there is the cheetah. They don't just inhabit the savannas, they also prowl this unforgiving Saharan inferno. This variant is a spectral phantom. It avoids the daylight entirely, hunting exclusively under the cover of absolute darkness. But the most terrifying adaptation, it rarely drinks water. It sustains its hydration entirely by consuming the blood of its prey. And when discussing Saharan apex predators, one cannot ignore the terrifying horned viper. It doesn't slither conventionally. It maneuvers through sidewinding, minimizing physical contact with the blistering sand below. When it strikes, the prey never even realizes that death was entombed just millimeters beneath its feet. Yet, the Sahara's most profound testament to resilience is not an animal at all. It is a botanical marvel, the true rose of Jericho. Popular myth imagines it tumbling aimlessly across the dunes like a cinematic tumbleweed. In reality, this plant remains stubbornly anchored to the scorched earth. During the brutal dry seasons, it appears to perish, contracting its brittle branches into a tightly clenched wooden fist. Within this skeletal embrace, it fiercely safeguards its precious seeds from the unforgiving sun. And here it waits, enduring in a state of suspended animation for years, sometimes decades. But the moment the first drop of rain graces its surface, a biological miracle unfolds. Its dead branches unfurl, liberating the seeds onto the awakened soil. It never truly dies. It merely slumbers. In the ruthless crucible of the desert, death is simply a brilliant evolutionary armor for life. While these organisms have conquered the battle for survival, the deep sands conceal far more than just fossil water and ancient bones. Entombed here is a geological phenomenon so vast, astronauts refer to it as the Eye of the Earth. Chapter 5: Secrets Beneath. If you were to excavate just a few meters beneath the Saharan surface, you would unearth a reality that defies all logic. Deep within the western desert of Egypt lies Wadi al-Hitan, the legendary Valley of the Whales. The skeletal remains scattered across this wasteland belong to neither camel nor dinosaur. They are the bones of 21-meter-long carnivorous whales. These are the remains of the Basilosaurus, a terrifying marine leviathan that ruled these very coordinates 40 million years ago. But an anomaly was unearthed here that violently shook the scientific community. These whales possessed hind legs, perfectly preserved within the fossil record, are femurs, knee joints, and even fully formed toes. It serves as the most irrefutable proof that the Sahara was once entirely consumed by the ancient Tethys Sea. Today, the relentless desert winds are slowly unearthing these behemoths, as if to remind us that where blinding dust now swirls, the blood of ferocious apex predators once flowed freely. Chapter 6: The Eye of the Earth. Yet, the Sahara's most profound enigma isn't concealed beneath the sand. It can only be witnessed from the vacuum of space. Located directly in the dead center of the Mauritanian desert is the Richat structure, universally known as the Eye of the Sahara. Spanning an incomprehensible 40 to 50 kilometers in diameter, this colossal geological ring defies immediate explanation. For decades, astrophysicists firmly believed it was an ancient asteroid impact crater. But the actual truth is far more complex. The legendary lost city of Atlantis, famously described by the ancient philosopher Plato, possessed an architectural blueprint virtually identical to this. Perfect concentric rings of alternating land and water. Is this merely a striking geological coincidence? Or did a highly advanced civilization actually thrive here millennia ago? Geologists, however, argue this is no mythical metropolis. They identify it as a colossal magma dome that violently surged from deep beneath the Earth's crust 100 million years ago, which was relentlessly sculpted by wind and water over millions of years, ultimately eroding into the distinct shape of a massive eye. But whatever the true origin may be, when viewed from the heavens, it appears as though this fragment of Earth is staring directly back at the cosmos. We still do not fully comprehend its existence, and perhaps the Sahara never intended for us to uncover the secrets hidden behind its eye. Chapter 7: The Global Connection. What we are about to reveal will fundamentally shatter your understanding of our planet. We look at the Sahara and see nothing but a sterile, lifeless wasteland. But the profound reality is, the world's most colossal desert acts as the ultimate guardian of the world's largest rainforest, the Amazon. Deep within the nation of Chad lies the Baudelaire Depression. It currently holds the title as the single dustiest location on the face of the earth. This is, in fact, the desiccated lakebed of the ancient megalake Chad, a sprawling graveyard entombing the remains of billions of microscopic aquatic organisms. The fossilized skeletal remains of these diatoms are overwhelmingly rich in a crucial, life-sustaining element, phosphorus. Every single year, relentless atmospheric currents sweep an astonishing 180 million tons of this mineral-rich dust directly from the Sahara. NASA satellites have tracked this phenomenon, revealing that roughly 27 million tons of this dust traverses the Atlantic Ocean, raining down continuously upon the Amazon basin. The dense soil of the Amazon is notoriously leached and stripped of essential nutrients, and this Saharan dust acts as a phenomenal, naturally occurring fertilizer. To put it bluntly, without the Sahara, the Amazon rainforest would literally starve to death. It is perhaps nature's greatest paradox. The death of a barren wasteland is actively sustaining the life of a vibrant, thriving rainforest. But this raises a terrifying question. What happens if the Sahara turns green again? If the transatlantic dust streams suddenly cease, would it trigger the ultimate collapse of the Amazon? Could human geoengineering forcibly terraform this desert back into an Eden? Or would playing God be our most catastrophic mistake? Chapter 8: The Hidden Ocean. The Sahara's most profound secret doesn't lie on its surface. It is buried deep below. Above, a relentless inferno of dust, and below, a hidden ocean of life. What we perceive as the most parched landscape on Earth conceals a staggering reality. Trapped within its bedrock is the world's largest reservoir of fossil water. This is the Nubian Sandstone Aquifer, a colossal subterranean vault holding an unfathomable 150,000 cubic kilometers of pristine water. A volume of water so unfathomably vast that if unleashed upon the surface, it could entirely submerge the African continent. It vastly exceeds the combined volume of all the North American Great Lakes. This is ancient precipitation, water absorbed by the Earth during the Green Sahara epoch and held captive in subterranean vaults for millennia. To tap into this primordial reservoir, former Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi engineered the Great Man-Made River, the largest irrigation project in human history. He sought to terraform the desert by embedding colossal arteries deep into the Earth's crust, but this utopian vision ultimately collapsed alongside his regime. But a grim reality haunts this oasis. This fossil water behaves exactly like crude oil. It is entirely non-renewable. We are aggressively draining an irreplaceable subterranean treasure forged tens of thousands of years ago. And the moment it runs dry, the desert will exact a ruthless vengeance. Chapter 9: The Future. But could the Saharan inferno ever revert to an Eden? The scientific consensus is a resounding yes. It is governed by an eternal planetary mechanism. Every 20,000 to 23,000 years, the Earth's axial tilt undergoes a profound shift. Climatologists project that roughly 15,000 years from now, the life-giving monsoons will inexorably march northward once again. Dormant riverbeds will roar back to life, ancient lake basins will overflow, and the Sahara will, once more, reclaim its throne as a vibrant green paradise. But is humanity capable of waiting, or are we destined to forcefully accelerate the geological clock of nature? Groundbreaking climate models suggest that covering a mere 20% of the Sahara with solar arrays could generate enough power to satiate the entire planet's energy demands permanently. However, the consequences would extend far beyond infinite electricity. These vast, pitch-black arrays would absorb significantly more solar radiation than the naturally reflective desert sand. This localized superheating would trigger a massive drop in atmospheric pressure, effectively creating a vacuum that drags moisture-heavy clouds in from the Atlantic. Through the sheer force of human engineering, we could literally summon the rain, artificially resurrecting the green Sahara. But manipulating the planet's atmospheric engine carries an apocalyptic price tag. As we've established, Saharan dust is the ultimate lifeblood of the Amazon. If we terraform the desert into a green utopia, those transatlantic dust streams will instantly cease. Deprived of critical phosphorus, the Amazon rainforest would literally starve to death. The proverbial lungs of our planet would suffer a total ecological collapse. It presents humanity with the ultimate existential paradox. On one side, infinite clean energy and a resurrected Eden. On the other, the suffocating death of the Amazon. Are we truly prepared to play God with those odds? The eternal sand. The Sahara is no mere ocean of shifting dust. It is a profound, unforgiving mirror of time itself. It stands as a chilling reminder that absolutely nothing on this planet is permanent. Not the rainforests, not the deserts, and certainly not us. The scorching wasteland of today was the roaring ocean of yesterday, and our magnificent, sprawling metropolises, who can truly say what will stand in their place tomorrow? Because when nature decides to shift its paradigm, empires as mighty as the Garamantes are mercilessly erased, reduced to nothing more than whispers in history. We are not the masters of this planet. We are merely fleeting tenants living on borrowed time. The Sahara continues to watch us through that colossal blue eye, observing in absolute silence, recording every fleeting moment, as if issuing a final silent warning that no matter how fiercely we fight, in the end, the sand always wins.